So, Neil, what is up? Now let me what I'm going to do is I'm going to start recording right now, Neil, because I'm going to turn this into a live stream and into a podcast on the Radio Girl podcast. So, let me start recording and hold on.
Now, if my family wants to watch this, where do they go?
Ooh, okay. So where are they watching?
Well, they're not yet. I was going to tell them if they wanted to, they could.
Yeah. So we're live right now.
On
And
what
so
the-
Neil,
Yes.
oh, tell them to go to facebook.com, the Radio Girl page.
Okay. Can I tell them really quick, or did you already
Oh
start
yeah, you can tell
recording?
them. We're live now, but yeah, tell them real quick. It's our facebook.com/Radio Girl podcast. That's where they can go.
Okay.
And I know that you're in your fancy studio right now that you broadcast from home with.
Yes. This is where I spend a lot of my time doing traffic.
Nice.
Well, wait, not anymore. I used to.
That's true. Yeah.
We're kind of back now. This is funny that I'm actually doing this on live. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it even more fun.
Okay.
Go to Facebook and you can watch our live stream, Radio Girl, look for that site.
Yes. Yeah, because it'll just be it's facebook.com/Radio Girl podcast.
Facebook.com/Radio Girl podcast.
Right.
Oh, I just sent it. Look at me.
Nice.
Woo-hoo!
All right, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Okay, you were saying?
Okay, Neil. Well, you were on my podcast, I think like 5 years ago. And I went to the hotel where you were working and we were talking with each other in the lobby. It was really incredible because I passed by that hotel many times because I don't live in River North, but I live near the Mag Mile and I've been by a lot of hotels. It was really cool. So
yeah. It was early in the morning too. It was like 5 a.m. before I even started working.
Oh, that's true. I went there at 5 a.m. and then, yeah, that's true.
It was really dark. There was no one around. The lobby was actually really dark on the one side where we went to. And we had, it was cool because we had privacy. We could talk and not bother any of the other guests.
Nice. Yeah. And it was also a beautiful lobby and everything.
Yeah.
But so what are you doing now? Are you still working in a hotel?
No, I left the hotel industry. I want to say 2018 it was. And I had an opportunity to go full time at WBBM News Radio to do overnights as a traffic anchor, which I was excited about. I know the hours don't sound too appealing to a lot of people, but for my family and I, it actually really worked because I could sleep at any time, thankfully.
Yeah.
And, my wife was happy because I finally would have a normal schedule where I'd have weekends off and doing something that I love. And that's being on the air, whether I'm talking about traffic, flowers, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I like to talk, as you know.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to go full time and I went for it. And it took some time because I had to, do the search and figure things out. And I got the call from Kevin Scott, who runs our traffic department. And he said, you're going to be pretty excited. I have some good news for you. And I was beyond excited because the hotel industry, I'd been with the hotel industry for close to 30 years. And I actually made a really good living in the hotel.
Wow.
I enjoyed what I did. I liked being with people. I'm a people guy. I enjoyed making people happy and just being and interacting with people all day long. And then having people throw money at you, because I was a doorman, I was a bellman, I was a concierge. I kind of did that whole realm, but I was tired. I was tired of being out in the elements because my final hotel job, I was a doorman. So I was tired of I'm getting a little bit older now. I was tired of the elements and fighting the cold and the heat and dealing with the public on the street, not guests, but just, taxi drivers, homeless, vagrants. I got fed up with dealing with all that. Yeah. I guess I don't have the patience that I used to have. So I was ready to go. And it just turned out that this opportunity came up and I talked with my wife, who was never crazy about me getting into the radio industry full time because it's very unstable, as we all know.
Right.
And she said, you know what, if it's WBBM radio, you go for it. Nice. You go for it. I don't care if it's overnights. You'll have a normal schedule. You'll be on the air every day. You'll be happy. And thankfully it worked out. And I went full time. I left the hotel industry. 2018, I want to say that was. And then I've been with BBM full time, not full time now. That goes into another story, but I was working full time on overnights for a while. And then I went to afternoons for a little bit and then came back, and I'm still part of the program. But when COVID hit, I lost my job like a lot of other people, because who really needed traffic reports during a time when nobody was out
Right.
during the overnight hours, which are very, light on people anyway and vehicles anyway. So I lost the full-time gig, but luckily I was able to stay on part-time, and there's another full-time opportunity that's available now. So I'm hoping and praying that is something that I have a good chance to get.
And how long were you working in the hotel business?
30 years. I've been doing radio and the hotel industry for about the same amount of time. I've been in radio 1 year longer. I started in radio in 1991 at Triton College at their radio station, and I've been with it ever since. I started the hotel industry the following year in 92, and I stayed with that, and I've been with that ever since. Now, I've done a lot in between, a lot of jobs in between, including helping my dad with his company. He had a printing company for a lot of years. Then we had a restaurant. I've been a delivery driver, you name it. I've really done a lot in my lifetime. But I would always go off and try different things, but I'd always keep my foot in the door at the hotel. And I had a good relationship there with the powers that be, and they took me back a lot because I left quite a bit. But I never left for long. I'd stay part-time and I'd go off and try this. They knew that I was just trying to better myself and my situation. I mean, who thinks about being a doorman or a bellman for the rest of their life? But I'll tell you, a lot of my friends are still in the industry, and they're really busy now because more than ever people are traveling again, but they don't have enough people to work, so they're very short staffed at a lot of the hotels. So from what I'm hearing, the guys that I worked with over the years are back in it, some of them, and they're making really good money. And
Yeah.
there's not enough people to help. And
Yeah, because
this guy probably ain't going back there anytime soon.
right. Yeah, because I live near a bunch of hotels, and some of those people have been there for years, but also some of those, I think a number of those hotels are union. So even during the downturn, I was talking to this one guy at the Ritz, and he said that he was busy with other stuff with the because there are also condos there connected to the same building. But
so they're a doorman for not only the guests but the residents.
Yeah, he said that he did other stuff too. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people around here, and they've been doorman for years. So
it's, what, it's a good gig. And I always told myself, like, are you really gonna be carrying people's luggage for the rest of your life? I did for a long time, and it paid the bills pretty, and then some. I made a good living in the hotel industry for a lot of years. The last few years changed a lot while I was there because of technology. So what I mean by that is, as a doorman, one of my main jobs was to welcome the guests as they're coming in and see them off as they leave. So I'm that first impression when they arrive and the last impression when they leave, which I thrived on. I like the fact that I had that much to do with people's, visit and how if they had a good time or not, and just their overall feel of the hotel. And toward the last, I want to say 5 years or so, because of technology, as a doorman, one of my main jobs was to get transportation for people, because people are walking out of the hotel and looking around like, how do I get from here to there? Well, there I am. Can I help you? You need something? Taxi? Sure, I'll get you a cab. Where are you going? Boom, boom, boom. Right. So I'm calling cabs for people. I'm helping them with their luggage, putting it in the car and seeing them off. And I'm talking to the cab driver a lot. Some of the cab drivers I knew by name. So I would say to the guest, hey, Mr. Johnson, this is one of the best cab drivers in the city. His name is Joe. Joe will take great care of you. And there's Joe. Hey, Mr. Johnson, like they've known each other. So I would build a lot of relationships in between. But because of technology, Uber took over and other apps took over. And no longer was I needed to call a cab or limo, to assist the guest to where they needed to go, because everything is right on their phone. And as a concierge, same thing. There are some hotels that still have that position, but a lot of people don't need concierge anymore. Everything's on their phone. Everything you need is right here.
Well, unless they're very busy and they really don't want to take the time.
And that's true. And there are people who are maybe a little, they used to live in maybe a little more of a ritzy lifestyle that have people do things for
Mm.
them, which is great. But for the most part, your average Joe doesn't need my help anymore.
Especially like you talked about limos, because I think about Uber Black, because here downtown, if you order Uber Black, you get a really nice SUV, like an Escalade,
and
to
it's a
take
lot
you
more
places.
expensive too.
It's more expensive, yeah.
A lot more expensive. But see, what I had going for me was being a doorman. I obviously had a lot of connections around the city, restaurants, limousine companies, various taxis, you know, um, nightclubs, whatever the case is, bars in the area, neighborhood bars. You start building relationships with people, and you're giving them, stuff to get, cards to go into a restaurant and get a discount or an appetizer or a few, a couple free drinks, or you're really enhancing that person's stay. But when the guest is doing all that on their own and just
Right.
doing everything from their phone, you're cut out of the equation. So you're no longer needed to do. And I'm not saying that it completely has ended, but I saw the writing on the wall and I did not like it. I did
Yeah.
not like it because my pockets were a lot lighter because of technology. But that's the way the world is going. There's nothing you can really do to change that. People are very they're doing their own thing now. They're very independent with technology. They feel comfortable going online and booking a hotel or booking a restaurant, or looking up all the reviews to determine where they want to go and who they want to go see or whatnot. So it's changed a lot over the years, and I'm really glad that I was able to get out of it. Again, I loved what I did for a lot of years, but toward the end, not as much.
Well, also, I mean, it sounds like you made a very good living for a number of years, so that's great. You weren't struggling.
I did. I really did. People are very generous. A lot of people, and you know, you don't realize the impact you have on people until they're getting ready to leave, and they come up to me and they put their hand down on my podium and go, "Thanks for everything, Neil. We're going to write up a good review. You were excellent. Thank you so much. Next time we come in, we're going to definitely come and see you." And they walk away and there's $100 bill.
Wow.
Just for what? For talking to you and your family and sending you, to go get a good burger at a place, or
Wow.
that's what I do. That kind of thing makes me happy. I don't expect to be rewarded for that, but
Mm.
people would throw money at me. And you can ask a lot of people in our industry. I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing. If you have personality and people take a liking to you, they pay you.
Nice.
So
Well,
it just changed a lot toward the end, and that's what I knew. And again, fighting the elements and everything else that I dealt with in the hotel industry for as long as I did, I knew it was time to go. And WBBM had a full-time opportunity. I had my wife's blessing, and I went for it, and I got it.
I was going to say something about you're talking about people giving you good tips and so forth. It sort of reminds me of certain businesses where you can do a good job, and then the person running the business, if it's a small business, for instance, they might give you a little extra. So for instance, I've worked at places where I've even worked for individuals where I hooked them up or I did something good, and then they send me a Starbucks card. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal. I don't know if you got that too, but
A
it's
lot.
really great to get a $50 Starbucks card out of nowhere. Or somebody says, "Hey, you know what? You've done a great job. I'm going to give you a little bonus." And these are people who are not necessarily very well off. It's really
Yep.
great.
They're showing how much they appreciate you. They're not just doing it to do it. They obviously took a liking to you and what you did for them. And
Yeah.
people like you and me, we're people, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even think twice about helping a guest, pick up everything they just lost from their bag. And I don't even think of any. I'm there to help and I'm there to assist. And that's even at home here when I have people over. My wife will tell you I wait on people. Can I get you anything? Can I you need anything? Can I get you something to drink? You hungry? You okay? You got a little cut there? I got band-aids. You want me to get you some band-aids? You care for people, and that's it's a quality that I was blessed with.
So
Being
you've
a
always
people
been like
person.
that? You've always
Yeah,
been
I've
like
always
that?
I've always been a people guy. Yeah, I've always been one to want to make people laugh, make people smile, um, and I've kind of always enjoyed people. Yeah, yeah, I really have. And part of my deal growing up, because I grew up in the city, was I was a little too trusting at times, and you become vulnerable, and maybe bad people want to go at you for whatever reason. And I always laughed everything off. Again, I've changed in recent years. I think working outside with the public and just being outside in general, outdoors with, with the public and everything else that goes on with the elements. I think it's changed me a little bit, maybe hardened me up a little bit, but
Mhm.
I still think, for the most part, I'm most times pretty happy-go-lucky guy, for sure.
That's good.
And I
Okay,
miss the
so
people.
so you're not at the hotel anymore and you're still working in radio and you said you work today.
I did. I was on
You
the air
told me this
today.
off the air. You said
Yeah,
that you worked today. Okay.
yeah, I was on the air today until noon. I usually work on the weekends from 5 a.m. until noon, and then during the week my schedule varies because again we're Claire Lane, who was one of our traffic people. She did afternoons with us for a little while, and she moved on to another station, so that left an opportunity open. And until they, are finished with their interviewing process and looking to see what else is there, they want to give everybody an opportunity, people who are going for the job. But I have been told that it's really thinned out a lot compared to other times when posting positions. It's very low, the amount of
Even though
people
it's
they're
full
getting.
time?
Yeah, it's very,
Wow.
just from what I'm hearing from the powers that be, it's it's really light as far as people. Some people just don't want to work, and
Or maybe they're doing something else. Maybe it's not that they don't want to work. This is a full-time job with benefits
yeah,
and
but
it's
it's
unions.
a full-time job in radio at the one of the
Yeah.
biggest stations, not only here, but in the nation. WBBM is, you know what I mean? It's one of the tops. And you know, for people not to be as interested as they once were, the pandemic's changed a lot of things. The
Mm.
pandemic has changed a lot of things. So for what I'm doing right now is just filling in the cracks right now, and I'm doing the job, along with other people filling in. And, whoever is the choice at the end wins, I guess. So we'll see
Well,
what happens.
when you say the pandemic has changed people's perceptions and so forth, can you speak to your own situation? Like, do you see things differently now after the pandemic has become better? Okay. Like what?
You and I talk about this a lot. The city has changed. Being downtown is not is as exciting as it used to be for me because I was home for close to 2 years doing my job from home.
Yeah.
And after everything that's happened over the past couple of years, from
Right.
the rioting and the violence and the guns, and a lot has changed over the past couple of years. And like you and I have talked about, I think Chicago is a beautiful city. I just don't feel safe anymore
Okay.
there.
Well, okay. I'm gonna give you a link. I should share my screen and show people. I actually wrote something to as a rebuttal to what you're saying.
Oh, I
Okay.
see that. Okay.
And I'm gonna share my screen right now for people because a lot of people think that it is more dangerous. First of all, I was just outside and there are literally thousands of people outside. All kinds of people are outside, families, individual people, all ethnicities. They're walking around, they're having a good time, they're eating, they're bicycling. And
Right.
I actually wrote this, everybody, for in the Chicago Tribune. I sent a letter because I was so sick of the negativity. So if you go to the Chicago
Yeah.
Tribune and look at letters, this is me. They posted it last week.
Make sure you save that or send that to me because I'd like to read that.
Okay, please read it
I
because
will.
I do
I,
agree that there are unsafe areas, but it's not as bad as what people think. And I live here and I work here and I'm here day in and day out. I'm not one of those city people that went to my place in Michigan or the suburbs. I had nowhere to go. I stayed here. So I've
yeah.
seen the whole thing, but
Well, I think a part of it too, and us working in the news industry, you get those stories thrown at you so much that it starts to
right.
sit with you, and you're like, "Wow, that's scary. Oh, wow, that just happened. Oh, that's scary. Well, what happened? Oh man, that's really scary." It's for me now living 50 miles outside the city and
Mhm.
working downtown pretty much my whole life, my adult life. Um, I never felt the way I feel now. And I
Mhm.
think a part of that is because I have been away for so long. And now I travel early in the morning or in the overnight hours.
Mhm.
I don't like it. And nothing's going to change my
Well,
mind.
so you live in a
And
stable area.
unless I have a police escort with me along the Eisenhower Expressway as I'm coming in, maybe I'll feel a little better, but I'm constantly constantly looking over my shoulder and looking around and nervous. And I've never
Well,
felt that way before.
I think it's because you've spent a lot of time during the pandemic in a very nice, safe, stable area.
True.
And that is your you're used to that. And so when you come into the city, there's it seems very chaotic if you're not used to it.
It's different. Now, during the day, I agree with you. I'm not nervous to walk around. I'm not, I worked in that city a lot of years. Never was I nervous. Never, ever, ever. Um, during the day, that's one thing. There are, as you said, because our studio overlooks Michigan Avenue and Lake Street. So I
Right.
could see all the people walking during the week. On the weekends, the tour buses are coming through, the big buses are coming through, and you can see all the people on the buses. It is nice to see people wanting to come back to Chicago again, because we've been, we're putting it, our city is our city's, people laugh at our city like it's a joke, like
Right.
it's Chicago. I ain't going there.
Mhm.
Obviously now everybody, because there are a lot of people that still come, but talking to people around the newsroom,
Mhm.
aside from the people like you who never left, who always had to stay there, and
Mhm.
you weren't able to work from home, it's different for us who have been away, have saved a ton of money, and saved a ton of time in my case, because I live so far away. But being back in the studio, it is a different feeling. And I know it sounds better that we're back in the studio. Everything's a little tighter, and it makes the station sound better. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get over how I feel. I don't feel good. I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you about coming down there. And I would, if they told me, tonight you don't have to come in anymore, you can continue working from home, I'd be very happy.
Right. And also, yeah, it's
Very
worked
happy.
out for you technologically. So,
Yeah, I mean, we've been able. We did something that we never thought we'd be able to do, and that's do radio from home.
mhm.
And I have a lot of friends like you in our industry who still haven't gone back yet.
Mhm.
Working for other companies, and may not go back at all unless it's like a hybrid schedule, which would be fine. That would work. But it depends on the station. It depends what the people who run the station want. And Ron Gleason, I know, wanted people back, and we've been back. Um, and it's when I'm there, I'm fine. I'm comfortable. Again, I'm a people person, so being in my basement alone is, not exciting. But you get used to that lifestyle, and you get used to saving all that money and all that time. And during that time, all you heard was negative, negative, negative,
Mhm. Well,
negative
especially during the riots, because
about the
I was
city,
here. I live in the
about the
middle of
city.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Riots,
you,
looting. It went on for like 3 months. It
yep,
was terrifying.
yep.
It was very disturbing, and I don't excuse it at all. And people who do excuse it don't live around here. So,
I agree. And what's nice too is I've been seeing lately. I don't know if that's a trend or something new that's starting, or if it's in certain areas of downtown. But looking out our window again at Michigan and Lake, the last few days, and this I guess was in the last week too. There's a squad car that just
right.
sits out with its lights going,
And
and
he's
it just
parked the opposite way. He's parked
yes.
facing Michigan. Yeah.
So is that you live downtown? Is that like that all around the downtown area, or just certain
Not
parts?
as much as during or right after the riots, because there was a lot of police presence, which was great because we started just walking around at night because we knew the police were around, so it was safer. But
You
in
would
some
hope.
parts, well, like on the Gold Coast, sorry, the Viagra Triangle, you do see some squad cars and certain
Yeah,
other places. And I know they're like unmarked cars out there. But it's fine because we want people to come here and feel safe. It's a big priority because literally thousands of people come here, and now there are festivals going on. See, I've got a lot of pride about downtown.
I know you
So
do. I used
yeah, I
to.
think it's really beautiful, and a lot of great people, and all of us appreciate people coming here. So
Definitely. I wish I could say the same, but I don't feel the same
yeah,
anymore.
right.
Um, I love the city. I think it's beautiful. The skyline when you're coming in, it looks so peaceful and beautiful. And I'm going to Lollapalooza for the first time ever because I'm a big Metallica fan, and a friend of mine bought 2 tickets with me in mind to go with him, so I
Wow,
have to
that'd be
go.
incredible. That's
I've seen
incredible.
I've seen Metallica a number of times, but I've never been to Lollapalooza. So that's a whole day of being down there, and I'm not nervous about that because there's going
When
to
is
be
that?
so
When
many
is the law?
people. Mid-July sometime, I want to say.
Hmm, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. Would I have gone if he didn't get me the ticket? No, no. But he
Really?
bought the ticket. No, no. I don't really have a desire to go to Lollapalooza. and just be there all day long. I mean, I paid I think it's $125 for the day. I
Mhm.
would pay that just to go see Metallica, but it's up to him if he wants to go down there. It works out nice because I have a parking spot now that I've been doing more hours at the radio station. So I have a good spot downtown right across from Millennium Park. So we can park and just walk over and be right there in the thick of it. So I'm looking forward to it in a way. I'm trying to talk my son into going with us to go because he'd like to see Metallica with his old man, I think. But we'll have to see. He works a lot of different hours too, so we'll have to see how that plays out. My wife will not go, I'm sure.
Eh.
I'd
Well,
love her to see Metallica with me, but I don't think she'll go.
well, if you have an extra ticket and you want somebody to go, I will go to Metallica with you because
Look at you.
I'm not a super fan like you, but I do like them. I would love to see them live.
They're good. Well, you can get tickets. I mean, it's general admission, so you can get tickets, and unless it's sold out. But that I don't know. But
Mhm.
I got a text when those tickets went on sale from a friend of mine, and he said, "You're going to Metallica with me. I just bought 2 tickets, and you're the first person I thought of to invite along with me." So I guess I'm stuck going,
That's good.
which
Now,
isn't a bad thing.
I was going to say one thing about what you're talking about negative news. This is a good example because I had a sub, and I know let's talk about your teaching in a second, but I had a sub for an English as a second language class because I've been teaching a daily college in the South Side for many years. So a number of students live in bad neighborhoods. So I had one of the students sells is an independent seller, and she gave me the coordinates, and I asked her, I said, "Wait, is that back of the yards?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Wow, is it dangerous there?" And she said, "I've only had one thing happen in like over 10 years."
I
And
wonder if
all I hear about back of the yards is shooting and gangs and violence. And she said she has a lot of friends there. She likes it.
you know what else is big in back of the yards neighborhood.
What?
The show Shameless.
Oh, right. Okay.
Shameless was based in the back of the yards.
Okay.
I wonder if that's changed the
I
perception
don't
of
know.
the area at all. You won't see me walking around there. I'll tell you that.
I've been
Um,
there. I've been there and I didn't feel scared or anything, but that's what I'm saying is I was basing my judgment on the negative news. And I think if you're down there, you know the situation better. So who am I to
yeah.
judge? You know what I mean?
Well, and you gotta look at it this way too. Of all the people that are down there, of all the people that are in the Chicagoland area, most people are pretty good people.
Mhm.
You have a couple bad apples, but that's really anywhere you go. But it's in the news so much, it just sits with you and it
Right.
sits in your head and and you're thinking, well, oh man, that person got shot there. I walk by there every day. Oh, that person got stabbed here. Well, I go down there twice a week. It's when people are throwing that negativity at you, sometimes you can't help but absorb it. If I
Mhm.
didn't know half the stuff going on, it probably wouldn't bother me. But
Mhm.
with me on the expressways every day driving, to and from, it's again, during the day I don't think about it. There's a lot of people out, and I know something can happen then too. It can
Mhm.
happen at any time and anywhere. But when it's dark and it's desolate, there's no one really around. Downtown is kind of scary to me now.
Mhm.
And I don't walk that far from my car to the radio station, but I do have to walk outside across the street, and you're looking around. You're grasping onto whatever your key or whatever, just to be prepared in case someone comes out at you. You just don't know.
Okay, now, so I mentioned my teaching briefly, and I know you're teaching now, right?
Yep, I'm teaching a pancake class. I teach people how to make pancakes.
That must be so. What do you do? Do you do chocolate chips? Do you do plain? Do you
Chocolate chips,
blueberry?
blueberries, whatever you name it. I put beer mixed in with some for the
Right.
people who like to drink beer.
Yeah.
No, I do teach. I've been an instructor now for about a year and a half at the Illinois Media School in Lombard, the Lombard campus. There are 2 campuses, one downtown and one in Lombard. And I actually came full circle because I graduated from that program in 1996, and it was Illinois Center for Broadcasting at the time. And I've always thought about instructing there. I always thought that would be a lot of fun, but I never had the time to do it because I had the hotel, the radio station. I worked a lot of hours, and I live, so far from downtown. I never had the time to do it. But then when the pandemic hit and I lost my full-time job, I was able to go and do into instructing at the Illinois Media School, and it really helped me out a lot financially, and it gave me another passion. And I found that being with the students and bringing in the next generation of broadcasters is a lot of fun. And I do shows with them. We have 3 studios, on-air studios, that we do shows in. One's a sports talk studio, one's just a talk studio, the other one is music. And I've always been a music DJ, so I miss being on the air, playing music. So it's called the edgeonair.com. And I bring students in with me and we do a show together so they can see how a radio show goes, and, how to tease stuff coming up, things that on-air people do during a radio show. So I'm doing that still part-time, which is great. I'm not able to spend as much time on campus as I'd like to be because I'm working more hours at BBM, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But because I want to work at BBM full-time eventually again. So I'm happy to help out where I can,
Yeah, it's a good place. Now, what do you love about radio so much? Because you've been in and out for many years. You've been very dedicated to it, even while you're doing other stuff.
I'm an entertainer, first and foremost, I think. I've always been on stage since I was a kid. Theater, did a lot of acting, did a lot of short films, wanted to be a movie star like a lot of other people. I found the radio station to be kind of like an outlet because I had no desire to like move to LA or New York to try and become an actor and, struggle. And I met my wife at an early age. We got married, we started a family. So I never really looked at doing that. I have the acting itch. I actually just did a film recently, which is going to be released at the end of this year. It's called Never Stop Talking.
What?
It's about it's about a radio person. It's about a radio personality. John Wesley Norton wrote it, produced it, directed it. He is an instructor at the school. You can look him up. He's on IMDb. He's done a lot of movies, and he needed a traffic. He's got I know I'm going off subject a little bit, but it's.
This is on subject because it's breaking news. And plus, wait, my question is this a feature film or what is this?
It is. Yeah, it is. I don't think it's like huge budget type movies that he does, but I've seen some of his films and they're actually pretty good. It's cool because it's based on a radio personality in our area. And there's a traffic reporter in the movie who, everything goes back to traffic. So if you and I are having a conversation about, talking about the city and about the downtown area and how it's changed, this person will be like, well, the traffic sure hasn't changed. Here's what's going on. Then he starts going in, everything is traffic to him. So John asked me to write a script, and he wanted me to write like some of the most outlandish stuff that you'd ever see on the roads. A cow on fire, a building collapse onto the expressway. So I wrote a script, and he's using it in the film.
What do you mean a script, or did you write descriptions?
Like a traffic script. Like if I was doing a report, I wrote, the Edens has this, the Kennedy has this. If you're on the Eisenhower, you're going to be heading outbound. King Kong just arrived here in Chicago, and he's terrorizing the city. Goofy, outlandish, crazy stuff. So I wrote a script for his traffic reporter to read, and I think he's used most of it. He's made some tweaks to it, but he asked me. He said, "Hey, would you want to come and I could probably use you for a little part if you want to come back, in a couple weekends." They were shooting at the school in one of the studios. So I did. I showed up there, and what's interesting about it is the whole movie is all improv. So there's no script to it. It was all done improvisation.
When is this going to premiere? When is the premiere?
December, I think it comes out. So
and
watch for it.
What's it called again?
Never Stop Talking.
This is news. Never Stop Talking, everybody. Watch it, see it. Where's it going to be?
I will get you that information when I see it. I want to make sure I got the name right. Never Stop Talking. Yeah, it's I was told, I just talked to him the other day, and he said, I think December is what he's shooting for. It's in production right now and getting edited and all that good stuff. Let's see if it comes up. Never Stop. Oh well. Well, I'll find it. But yeah, it's based on oh yeah, there it is. Never Stop Talking. Yeah. Yeah, you if you could see,
Nice.
that's it. So, and my name's on there. I'm actually on IMDb, which is kind of cool.
Oh my
I
gosh.
actually have a
You're in the
character,
business. You're in
and
Hollywood.
I have a character name. My character's name is Ronald Redding, which is
Wow.
cool. Like I have a name and everything. So,
Nice.
and again, it was cool because it was all improv, and I went through Second City. I trained there for over 2 years and went through their program again because going back to acting, I've always done a little bit of that. And radio, we going back to what you asked me, why radio?
No,
Since I was,
but actually, no, you digress, but this was a very important information.
it was breaking news, like you said. That's what we do in our business, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember as a kid, and even my aunt tells me, and my mom, they remember me walking around with a tape recorder and interview, one of those little handheld tape recorders with a cassette and
Right.
recording my family and doing interviews with them. I always loved listening to DJs on the radio. I would record their shows. I, like a lot of people, would call the request line and ask them to play a song, and they go, "Sure, kid, yeah, it's coming up." And you'd sit there for hours and hours and hours and never hear it. I
Right.
was one of those, one of those kids by the radio recording everything, listening to Dick Biondi, who's one of the more famous people in our industry, who I had the pleasure of working with for quite a few years. And that, I guess I've always had a love of music. I'm a big music guy. I grew up with all soul. My parents were huge into the Temptations and the OJs and Motown, all that stuff. And now I love that stuff. Like the Temptations and Metallica are my two favorite groups.
Mhm.
And I love Anita Baker, and I love jazz, and I love so much about music. And now that I'm doing traffic, I love being on the air. It's been 12 years now I've been doing traffic for BBM, but I miss the music side of it a lot. I would love to just get like a part-time job, maybe not even part-time, once a month, like on XRT or somewhere, just to spin some tunes, dude,
Mhm.
I miss that part of it a lot. So I hope to get back doing that one day, even if it's part-time here or there. I have no intention of leaving BBM, but I do miss the music side of it so much. But my love for music and my love for, I guess, interviewing people, talking to people has been with me for a lot of years. And once I found the radio station at Triton College, when I started taking classes there after high school, that's when I found it. And then that was it. I still have my tape. I still have my first time ever on the air
Hmm.
recorded that we listened to. My kids actually play it back on their phone because they recorded it onto their
Right.
phone for my tape recorder.
Neat.
And they laugh. They go, "It doesn't even sound like you. You sound like a kid." So yeah, I enjoy radio, and when people tell you they listen to you, and you get them out of a jam, they appreciate the way you sound or whatever. That's always nice to hear. You
That's
know.
good. And so I was going to say that you also talked about the instability of business, but why I asked you that question, why you love it so much, is because a lot of people cannot handle instability. Like they'll be exposed to it for a couple of years, and then they think, I've got to get out of this. It's too crazy.
Yeah,
Why?
well, that's a good point. And I honestly, as I told you earlier, I've gone through a lot of jobs in my life, a lot of jobs. So unfortunately for my wife, she was never crazy about it, which
Wait,
I
how long have you been
understand.
married? How long have you been married?
April and I are going on 23 years. We've been together. Actually, it's funny. Today is our 27th anniversary of knowing each other.
Nice.
Today, 27 years ago, June 11th, I met my beautiful wife. And we were set up on a blind date, believe it or not. And we've
Well, you
been
guys, it sounds
together
like
ever
you guys have a
since.
very good relationship. I've never heard you say anything negative about her.
My wife is phenomenal. And I'm not sure she's watching this right now. And even if she was, she'd cringe because she does not like to be the center of attention. But my wife is beautiful. She does a lot for our family and I don't know where the hell I'd be without her.
Because I know
Heck, I'm
that
sorry.
it's okay.
Heck.
I know that, yeah, no swearing. I know that in some of your bios online, you say family guy.
Yeah, radio guy, family guy. That's my moniker. Did I say that right? Is that called a moniker? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, radio guy, family guy, because family first. Um, and we don't lead a very exciting life. We don't go out a lot. It's not like we're we don't do anything, but we're happy, just my wife and I, happy just being at home, watching our cop shows, right? Our SVU shows, and watching horror movies together. And my kids are older now, so they have their own lives and they do their own thing. And we love spending time with them, but we also understand that we were at that age at once too, and never around. I was never around as a young guy. I was out all the time.
You're a party dude. You were.
Well, as I got a little older, maybe, I'd have some beers with the boys, but I was always a very hyperactive kid. I'm still, I think, kind of hyper.
Yeah, you seem
I'm
pretty
nervous.
hyper.
Yeah, I have a lot of tics, like nervous tics. You might, if you really pay attention when you see me around BBM, you'll see some of the tics I have. It's all nervous stuff. I have a lot of nervous energy, so I've always been on the go since I was a kid, and I kept busy as a young guy, and I still keep busy today for sure, as you know, as you're hearing right now.
Yeah. Now, speaking of kids, so I know you and I were talking at one point about how I'm not a parent, so I can't really speak to this from personal experience, but you were saying that kids now don't go to summer camp as much.
I don't know anybody who goes to summer camp.
So your friends' kids don't go or anything?
No, I forget when my daughter went. It was before high school when she started going to like a Christian kind of youth group kind of thing, where they would obviously learn the Bible and go on field trips and play sports and things like that. But she lost interest when she started getting in high school, and that she played softball, so that kind of filled that void. But my son's never been one. No, me, on the other hand, I was always in day camp. I grew up in the Belmont Cragen neighborhood, Portage Park, kind of like that whole area. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked, and my mom wanted me to be out doing things and not just be in the house all day, which I was never in the house all day. But as a younger guy, she wanted me to interact, with kids and outside of our neighborhood, because in day camp you would do things, right? You'd play sports, you go on field trips, you'd swim, you go to the movies, you do a lot of fun things. And it would also give my mom a break, and she'd be able to have some mom time and get the house done and make dinner and all that good stuff. And I enjoyed that. I went to a number of day camps. I actually wrote some down here so I wouldn't forget. I think I went to day camp at Merrimack Park on the northwest side, Reese Park, Black Hawk Park, Portage Park. I mean, I was all around growing up in day camp. But when I got a little bit older, then I was like, no, I'm not. I became a counselor, though. I became a counselor as I got older in day camp. And I actually, it seemed like I got into more trouble as a counselor than I did when I was a camper.
Well, how many did you go to camp, like every summer when you were growing up?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty much
Me
every
too.
summer.
I did that every summer, yeah.
And I think what's helped shape me to who I am today, aside from day camp and being out with people, and we moved every year when I was growing up in the city. My mom and dad would sign a lease to an apartment, and after a year, my mom would want something different, or they didn't like the landlord. My mom and dad partied a lot when I grew up, so they probably made a lot of enemies in the building. So we moved a lot, and I was just telling someone this the other day. I went to 8 different schools, kindergarten through 8th grade.
Wait, did they have parties at their house or something?
Oh yeah, we always had parties.
Fun. I mean,
yeah, my dad would have kegs, and we'd have friends over and family. My mom and dad loved to party. Yeah, we were always around family and friends, always. And we always lived in apartments, so obviously, you got to kind of keep your voice up. My parents would blast music, and they probably, again, didn't make a lot of friends in the building, but we would move every year as I was growing up, and I went to 8 different schools, and I really think that has shaped me a lot to who I am today, being able to talk to someone on the street who I don't know, to a Mr. Marriott type of guy who maybe is worth billions of dollars. I could talk to anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm comfortable talking to anybody. They're just people to me. So I think that's really it's really kind of shaped my life and who I am today, and being able to do what I do and not be nervous about anything. Like we were talking before we got on, and you were a little nervous, I know. And I'm like, nervous about what? There's not, but I bet, see, that's me. I'm one of those that's out
Okay,
there.
well, so I'm
I
nervous
want to be
because
in your face.
well, for instance, okay, so I'm on the video and I've got this red light from my little snowball mic
That's a
and
nice
it's
mic too,
shining
by the
red
way.
on my face. That's why I'm nervous. See?
You look great, but put it there again. Yeah.
Yeah, see? It's
Yeah, I see
red.
that. That's so
Yeah, so I'm
funny.
gonna tag the snowball people on Twitter
That
and
is
tell
actually a
them.
really cool mic. Maybe they could send me one. I really like that mic, Snowball people. Looks like
This
a little
is
droid.
well, this is the original, like one of the original podcasting mics. I just keep it around because my husband has the one that you have, the Yeti Pro. He's using that one for his
I,
online
I'm kind
meetings.
of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not even my microphone. It's Dan Franks, who works
Okay.
at BBM with us also. Um,
Was like this is like a BBM insider podcast now.
yeah,
So,
we're talking about all BBM people. Who else can we talk about?
right. Well, I think it's because now I work there every day. Dan works there every day. You're there often, so we
Yeah.
that's where we see each other often. And I'm not seeing you. You're not broadcasting that often remotely. So
No, the other day I had to just because I was called in last minute and it was a night shift and I was at the school. So I wouldn't have had enough time to get downtown from where I'm at. So Kevin said, just go ahead and do it from home. And I hadn't been doing it at home in a long time. But it's funny because during the pandemic, right, your cats are in the background yelling, your dogs are barking, the doorbell's ringing, your kids are screaming. You know, that just has become part of the norm for people on TV, people in radio. People don't even think twice about it now. It's funny now, you know. Whereas before, you're like, what? Why is your kid on your lap? Like, what's going
right.
on? It's
Well,
changed a lot.
I was gonna say about your parents. You know what's funny is I always joke with people about partying. So for instance, somebody will leave, a job and I'll say, "Oh, are you gonna go party now?" And they're like, "No, I'm not gonna party." And actually your parents really were partying because I'll say that to even older. Yes, I used to say that to my dad who was almost 90 years old. I'm like, "Dad, are you gonna party again?" He's like, "No." I'm like, it's always a running joke.
We still do. My parents still will come over, and they're in their 70s now, early 70s, but we'll still have them out because they live not too far from us. We're in like the Aurora area, and they're out toward Elgin. But when they come, they'll usually have a few drinks with us, and we'll listen to music and we'll talk, and sometimes stay up till all hours of the night. Not as much anymore. It's kind of hard to do now, but they'll always stay here because they don't want to drive home. And we reminisce. We talk about me going to day camp and going to all these different schools, and my love for radio with a listening to your little tape recorder and recording people, things like that. We kind of talk about that stuff, and it's funny to look back on how you grew up and what you did and how it kind of relates to what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, because I'm surprised when you told me that a lot of people don't go to camp because I live obviously downtown, so I don't see the percentage of people with kids around here is very low. I think it's only like 2% or less.
They're out in the suburbs, right?
Exactly. But in the suburbs,
Yeah.
I need to talk to some people because I do know some people whose kids go to camp, but I really think that people should go to camp. It is so extremely fun. And you're outside, you're doing different things, you learn different skills. Like, did you do archery in camp?
Yeah, we did
So
archery. We
fun.
played softball. We played football. We played a lot of different games. Um,
And then
swam
I
a lot,
remember, I was
a
gonna
lot
say,
of
like, I
pools.
even went to aquatics camp because I grew up, in Skevinston. It's Evanston Skokie, and Evanston is near the lake. Yeah, that's what we call it. I
That's
went to
cool.
Evanston schools, but I had Skokie police. It's really weird. It's a weird area.
Skevinston, that's great.
Well, people from there know what I'm. If I meet somebody from Evanston, I'll say I'm from Skevinston. They're like, oh, okay. And then I was bused to the farthest south part of Evanston for junior high because they wanted to
Mm,
mix up everything.
yeah.
So, but the thing is, I remember when I went to aquatics camp, we learned sailing, we learned water skiing. I felt so lucky, and I wasn't well off. I was just like a middle class person,
That's
but
the
there are all
same
these
with us.
opportunities. Yeah.
Well, but you have to remember, Margaret, the younger generation today, this is their life. This is their life, the computer, the games. It's a different time now.
So you see that in
I
your kids and their friends.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I see it myself too, right? Where you're constantly checking things out after looking at, Facebook or Instagram, whatever, 10 minutes ago, and you're picking up your phone again. It's awful. It's terrible. I don't like it. But that's the time that we're in. And I'm guilty of it too. But I think, kids are different today, whereas, yeah, they're not. I know a lot of my friends growing up. I'm sorry, my kids' friends growing up in our area, Yeah, I don't know of many that went to camp. I really don't. It's
So what they do
no,
in the summer? What they do in the summer?
play video games and be on their phone.
In the summer? Come on. They're not
Yeah,
outside
it's
running.
no, it's
What
different
about the
now,
sprinkler
right?
scene? Do kids still jump in sprinklers?
I don't ever see it. No,
Okay.
no, and I have a lot of kids in the area, but no. I mean, I think people are getting more out now because we were locked up for so long, and people want to get out, enjoy things, and enjoy the outdoors. I mean, we could do that before during the pandemic because we were all home, but it's just a different feel now. I think, you know, I go by a lot of schools in my neighborhood. I don't see many kids at the park or playing softball or playing basketball or, when we were growing up, and when I was growing up, we had Atari that had just come out, and in television and ColecoVision, and those were fun, but that didn't take place of going outside. We wanted to be out, and I grew up in the city, and all we did was climb trees, climb up on rooftops, play ghost in the graveyard. We'd
Oh,
play
we did that.
hide and seek on like the whole block. The only rule would be you can't hide in a house or in a backyard. You'd have to hide out, in the on the block somewhere, whether it's in the tree, under a car, wherever, all that stuff. Yeah, we didn't want to come in. Yeah, it was a
Yeah, I
different
remember.
different
I remember it
time,
would get
right?
dark. Yeah, it would get
The
dark and it's
street
like, come on,
lights.
gotta go in. Yeah.
You got to be up. You got to be home when the street lights come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a much different time, and I would give anything to go back to the time of that and going back to the rotary phones. I would give anything to get away from what we're doing right now,
But every
personally.
generation says the same thing. So for instance, the people
Yeah,
older than us, they would love to go back to no rotary phone, like
yeah,
strings in a cup. I don't know,
yeah,
but
right. Or just yell across the neighborhood, Margaret.
right.
Or Ralph Cramden used to call up, Norton, come on down.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get nostalgic. I guess I'm one of those people. I really appreciate modern technology because it's given people like me a voice. Because a long time ago, the only people who had a voice publicly were the people who worked at the Tribune or the three television stations or whatever. And now people can express themselves in different ways. And I teach at Columbia, and I see students expressing themselves in all different ways.
I agree with that, but part of my issue is too many people have an opinion, and it just rubs me the wrong way. That's me, that's me personally. I don't care what you think, but I'm on Twitter, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, he said what? What did she say? You know what I mean? But I'm a very, very simple guy,
I'm
like
on
a
Twitter.
simpleton.
I'm on Twitter too, but I've like hardly any followers, and no, I post something and nobody responds. So there you go. I don't know. I guess because I'm not
I
posting. I'm not posting controversial stuff
well
except during the
that
riots.
and
So
you have to remember you got to tag people, things like that,
yeah,
tag, hashtag, and all that good stuff.
right,
But no, it was just I tell the students we laugh about technology because every time I'm trying to log into the program at school, of course it never works on the first try. Then I got to do it again or a third time, and then I got to look at my passwords that I have saved here. Well, maybe I changed the password. Let me look. Oh, I didn't put it in. Things like that, and they laugh at me, and I explained to them, when I was growing up, it was pretty easy. If you want to turn on the TV and watch something, you just go ahead, pull the little knob, and
right,
there's your TV. It's on. Everything's there. If this channel doesn't come in, okay, then you just go to the next one. There's only 3 or 4 of them anyway. But it was much more easy for this little head of mine, a little mind of mine, to be able to absorb. I have a difficult time, and I'll be really honest with technology. I mean, I hold my own, but it takes me a while to grasp certain things. It's a lot that comes at you really quick, and I find that challenging when I'm trying to instruct students at the school, but I overcome it with other things that I can do. So that
now why do
helps.
you why do you like teaching at school? Why do you like teaching in general?
I think it's kind of like being a dad and seeing your kids do well, and your kids do things. You start working with the students, and again, you're helping them to become the next generation of broadcasters. And I guess it's rewarding, like a lot of teachers will tell you. You being a teacher, when a student comes up to you, or recently I had a student write something about me on LinkedIn, and the school featured it. This person mentioned me and thanked me. I was her favorite instructor, and I I've really hardly even been in class with her. But the times we did spend together, I must have made an impact on her. And she let the world know about it. And that was touching to see how you affect people. And again, remember, I'm a people guy, so I like to help other people. So being an instructor, you're helping, right? You're assisting, and you're making people, you're kind of leading them along, instead of leading them to a restaurant like I did in the hotel, or to a fun, park to go see or whatnot. I'm leading them to radio stations, and a couple of our students are working at BBM now.
Yeah.
And I was happy to be a part of being able to bring them in, people who are really excited. And the one of the students who works with us now, Dalal, actually almost was in tears when she got the job. That's rewarding to me, seeing the next generation of broadcasters and knowing that you made, an impact on someone. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I talked to her. She seems very smart and sophisticated and cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
But I also met your other student. He said you often joked about him. So
Josh, yeah. We make fun of Josh a lot in a good way. He was very eager to just get his foot in the door, and they interviewed him, Zach and Ron, and they loved him, and they hired him. All I can do is give the information to the person that the higher up that's in place, but they have to go into the interview and sell themselves, so.
And Zach, we should say Zach is a managing editor. He's awesome.
Yeah. And of course, Ron Gleason, everybody knows Ron Gleason.
He's the boss of the station. Yeah. And he's also the best boss. Okay. I'm going on the record about that, and then Zach is an incredible person. I worked with him when he basically was starting out. I'm like, this guy is going to be big, and he is so excellent at his job. And for a young person, he is very mature. He appreciates people. He does not discriminate against age.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He has nothing against older people, which is refreshing. Yeah. I never hear anything negative. He's open to diversity, etc. So
yeah, he's a phenomenal young man. And I think most of that newsroom would do anything for him.
Yeah, he is one of the best people. And I've met hundreds, maybe thousands of people in my life. And I even said this to him, and I think I posted this on Facebook a long time ago. I said, this guy is really, I forgot what I said, some superlatives, but he's also very, very savvy, very smart, very cosmopolitan. He's not from Chicago. He seems like a city guy to me.
Where's he from?
He's from the Peoria area.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Okay.
And he's very, very professional. I mean, he's everything. Okay. So he should, it's like, I'm really glad he got that. But I was going
to say really quick, the one thing that stands out about Zach, he's genuine.
Yeah, he's genuine, right?
He's a very genuine young man. For sure.
Yeah, seeing people like him makes me really happy for society, because sometimes you see bad people move ahead, and sometimes you see people like him move ahead, and he's awesome. And he's like,
he's one of the good ones.
He's not my boss, but he's very supportive. So
yeah, he's one of the good ones, Madge, like you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Now, I was going to say one thing about you that you said, you keep saying that you're a people person. Now, I actually wrote a blog post about this, because I like people who like people. So for instance, some people will be in the people business. So they'll be a pastor, they'll be a teacher, they'll be working with people, or like a consultant. They make lots of money working with people, but they're not people. They're not, they don't have really an interest in people. They just have an interest in themselves and getting ahead. Or they might help people, and it's just for their own gain. But you're not like that. How have you kept it real all these years?
It's hard. I mean, I am who I am, Popeye, right? I am what I am. I'm that person. I'm that type of person. I'm a people person, I'm a genuine people guy. I like people. Again, I like to make people happy, make people smile.
Okay, so basically that's how you are, and you just stay that way, because some people even people get on the air. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're full-time on the air or not. And you're just in a movie that's going to come out. It goes to their head, and then they change, and then they become a pill. Like they're just not great, or they become mean or something.
Or they become arrogant.
Yeah, arrogant, right.
There's a lot of people like that we know in our industry. Not a lot in our newsroom, that's for sure. And there's a lot of talented people in that newsroom, but I don't think I've ever seen from anybody there. It's really a cool feeling. No, I think it's it, Margaret. I
This
think
like
it's
I
it.
know, I agree. Yeah, there's another. I I mean, I'm there every day and it's a very pleasant place. Okay, this is like a commercial for it or something, but I I thought, oh, I'd be it's actually everybody's like, yeah, you're right. Nobody's arrogant. Everybody works together. No, and even
It's
the
a
honor
good
people who
team.
make the big bucks, they're like,
Yeah.
they're so cool. Yeah.
You know, we can, for example, one name that sticks out in my head, of course, is Pat Cassidy, right? Who did mornings forever in
Right.
Chicago. God, one of the nicest people you meet, just like what you hear on the air. He's like that in real in person when you're
Mm.
talking to him, just a loving, caring sweetheart. You know, he'd come up to me when I'd be in doing traffic, and he'd always make it a point to come and say hello to me, not just
Mm.
me, but everybody.
Right.
But it made me feel like here's the morning man of BBM, you know, been doing this a long time, and he wants to know about me and how
Mm.
my family is. Hey, you mentioned your daughter's graduation was last week. How'd that go? You know, he
That's nice.
remembers stuff, you
Mm.
know, and then he leaves and the big shoes to fill. And then you got Cisco Cotto, who's another one, just a gem.
Mm.
Not only super talented, but just a gem of a guy. Um, you know, it's cool. You know, you
Oh yeah,
either
because you're
have
on the air with him, right? Sometimes when you fill
yeah,
in for Bo
when I
Duran.
fill in for Bo, yeah.
Okay.
You either have it or you don't. You could fake it sometimes. A lot of people do, but that's just who I am. You know what I mean? I'm me. I'm genuine. I'll try to give it to you straight. Maybe I'll sugarcoat a little bit because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Mm.
But I'm pretty, yeah, I'm pretty, you know, pretty genuine and real. I guess you can is a way to describe it. Sometimes the realness gets me in trouble, things I say or do, but you know, I'm just naturally a people guy, and I like to be the center of attention, as you might already know.
Well, that's why it's good that I've done a live stream with you because you're a good talker and you like to talk about yourself. But
We've
do
been talking
you
like 2 hours, and wait, was that
one
a
hour?
shot?
Yeah.
Was that a shot that I like talking about myself? Did you
Yeah.
just make a shot?
No, no, no. It's no,
No, you're right.
it works for live interviews.
Well,
It's
because
very
I
good.
go off, but right, we go off at all these other, you know, you're right. We'll relate it to traffic, right? I'm driving on the Kennedy, right? All of a sudden I hit the tri-state. Now I'm on the tri-state,
Right.
right? And then I go, and then now all of a sudden I'm on I-80. I'm going west at I-80. See, right? It's like my thoughts are going all over the place, and you build off of what you're talking about, and then you start reminiscing and thinking about things from, and you're like, oh yeah, and this. And I learned that through Second City. And yes, and you're always trying to build it, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I am a good talker, and I'll shut up now.
Well, no. So, is there anything else you want to say?
Just that you're a wonderful person. You're a wonderful human
Are
being.
you just saying that because you're my guest? I mean,
No,
thanks.
you know, what we didn't talk about either is you interviewed me at the hotel when I was
Right.
still working there, but you would come and visit me often. You would stop at the hotel and just talk with me, like one of the guests. You just wanted to come and see me and hang out and visit, and
Yeah.
that meant a lot.
I
That
mean,
meant
yeah.
a
Well, I think it's
lot.
because also I was working downtown at this company, and it was on my way there or back, and it was just easy to stop by. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
he's
but you
out there.
didn't
That's
have
cool.
to. You didn't have
That's
to, and
true.
you
Yeah.
did. You
Well, I'm
did.
also a
So
people person, Neil.
yes,
So
I
there you
know.
go.
I know, and that's probably why we get along so well. The one thing I will request is one of those shirts. Where do I get one of those
Oh,
swanky
this is one of a
shirts?
kind. My husband made this for me, and of course,
Oh,
he made it for me a while ago, and I started wearing it to work because I'm gonna do these live streams. But yeah, so it's a Radiogirl t-shirt. You can't get it anywhere. But the thing is that I was gonna say that I'm a people person, and one time I was recording somebody, and I hadn't seen them in a couple of months, and I said, "Hey, how's this?" I brought up some detail about their life, and they're like, "How do you remember that?" I said, "Because I like people." And I don't always remember names, but I remember details. I often remember
you
details.
remember things. Yeah, you remember things, and
Yeah.
that like going back to Pat Cassidy. That's what he had.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how was your son's dinner date the other night? You said your son was going on a dinner date. How'd that
Wow,
go?
that's a good memory.
You know what I mean? Like, and I do have that. My wife will tell you that I don't have that, but I do have that.
Yeah.
You know, of course, as a husband, you forget everything.
Right.
How convenient, right? But yeah, you remember little things about people, and
I don't
that
remember everything. Sometimes I forget. Like somebody
no
told me
little
they're going to go out
things
of
though.
town. Yeah, because somebody
Little
told me they're
things.
going to go out of town, and I forgot. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "No, I'm not there. I'm out of town. Whatever."
You
So
can't remember everything, Margaret. You
yeah,
can't remember every single thing, right?
yeah.
But we're people. Okay, people person. what I was trying to think of earlier finally came to me. People pleaser. That's what I am.
Okay, well that
People
could be
pleaser.
negative if you're a doormat, a people pleaser.
Yeah, I kind of am in a way, I think, but then another part of me is not.
You don't
But
strike
I
that. It
guess
sounds like you have boundaries. Sounds like you have boundaries.
I do
So
have some boundaries now. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Okay,
think I might.
well,
I think I might give someone the hand. Like, hey, all right, enough. I've
right,
done enough for you. I'm not doing any more. And
right,
then
right.
afterwards, I'd apologize. Like, I'm
Mm,
sorry I said that. I didn't mean to say that. Whatever you want, I'll do it.
yeah. Well, okay, I've got to go because I need to go to Evanston.
Oh,
And
come
I
on.
don't mean Skevinston. I mean Evanston, downtown Evanston. So to a family thing. So,
Okay.
but
Well, it's been,
thanks
yeah,
a lot for being on. And I will talk to you. I guess, well, will I see you Monday? I don't know. Oh
yeah.
no,
I'll
I'm
see
off
you
Monday. Okay, Tuesday.
Tuesday. I'll be there, and let's definitely do this again. It was fun. You and I could probably talk for a couple days straight.
That's true. Yeah.
But I'm very happy. Again, I was thrilled when you asked me to be on your Radio Girl
Thank you.
podcast, and I was very happy when you invited me to join this live stream, and it was a lot of fun. And